Okay, welcome everybody to Pro Organic Beliefs' speaker meeting. Today we have Philip Mai of just outside of San Antonio Village here in Cayo, and he is going to be talking to us. He is an organic gardener, and he's going to be talking to us about seed saving to grow local crops, and also kind of just I asked him, I said, well, just share as much information about organic gardening as you are willing to share. And then we'll see how much we can ingest. Okay, just a couple of meeting ground rules. If everybody would please stay muted, except for Philip, because he's the one that's going to be talking. And because the meeting is being recorded, so it does pick up every little background noise from other people's computers. So everybody stay muted except for Philip. And he said that he will welcome questions anytime during his talk. So you can send your questions, you can type them into the chat option sent to everyone. And I'll see those and let him know that there is a question, and I can either read them or Philip can look at them, whichever he prefers. And for those of you who are there with Philip, you can just kind of raise your hand and let him know that you have a question, and he'll kind of answer those as we go along. Just a quick intro to Pro Organic Beliefs. You can go to our Facebook page for Pro Organic details. It's facebook.com/Pro Organic Beliefs. Our Facebook group is for discussions. And our organization, Karen, has done an incredible job with keeping our website very organized and up to date and just with a wealth of information on there. So which is pro-organicbeliefs.org. And a couple of things that it has on there. It does let you know how you can join Pro Organic Beliefs for $25 Beliefs a year. It's very easily to do that online with a bank transfer. Or if you see one of us in person, that's an option. Has information about the consumer group where you can get pesticide-free produce and how to get on the weekly list for that. It also has all of our speaker meetings for the last more than 2 years now, because we record each of them and then Karen uploads them to the website. So you can go and look back. It has a picture of, what the presentation was. So you can pick and choose which ones you want to watch all of them, whatever. It's a very good way to get a lot of really good information from the last couple of years because our speakers have been very diverse. So I will turn it over to Philip, and if you will just, okay, well, I'm trying to stop screen share. My Zoom is doing weird things.
What we do is that we actually take things in cooler places. But first of all, we have to put them in containers just for it to keep cool and then for no mites or things to go in. And that is how we do it. But then I would like to ask a question before I continue on. If does anybody of you present and on Zoom have any idea how do you store your seeds now? Does anybody have an answer to that?
In glass bottles.
Yeah, glass bottles.
Yeah,
right?
we dry them thoroughly and then make sure they're clean. And the same thing in glass jars.
Okay.
And try to put them in a cool spot too.
As well. Okay. So it comes just like how we do in our time, or like now, present. Because our grandfather had taught us how to do it, But it's not just putting it in a jar. It's like you have to do something to it to keep it, so the weevils don't come and take care of it, So that is what we normally do. But anyway, as we go along, we do a lot of different, what we call organic seeds. What do we do with organic seeds? How do we get organic seeds? Usually the plants that we plant that grows, they flower, they bloom, they give seedlings, and that is how we get back our seedlings. So those seedlings, we keep them, and then that we replant again every year. And it never goes like the hybrid seed. The hybrid seeds are, you could plant them once and that's it, and then you have to buy back again. But does anybody have an idea why? Why do we have just to plant one time and then that's not it? We don't plant again? About the hybrid seed? Anybody have an idea?
So you have to buy more seeds every year.
Exactly right. That is the purpose of it. See, they make more money. And this is just like a company that's making that, What they do is if your seed cross-pollinate with that, then we're in trouble. Then you don't want that. So what they do is they sell you that seed every year because you can't plant it. If you plant it, doesn't go the way how it is. So what we do recommend is that if you're doing organic, try not to use those kind of seed because they could get mixed with your seeds and then you'll find out that your seed is not going to last long anyway. Again, so that's one of the things that we try not to do. But how do we do it? Here I have a little sample of what we do. It's a preview sample, just how we save it. And I have a little jar here, which says Nescafe, but it's not coffee. You could see inside, maybe you could see it. I get it a little closer to you so you could see it. It has the seeds in it. And this is bean seed, black beans. This seed here has been in the bottle more than a year now. I don't open it. The minute I open it is because I'm going to plant it. But then I close it back again. So do you see a white substance in it, right? You might think, oh, that's poison. But in reality, we don't use poisons. This is what we use. What would you call it? The white substance in it.
Diatomaceous earth?
Lime?
Lime.
What is it?
Lime?
Lime.
Lime.
White lime.
Oh, lime.
White lime is actually what we use. This is what we preserve our plants with, or our seeds with, sorry. And this is going to last you even 2 years if you do it this way.
Oh.
And you don't have to refrigerate it.
Oh.
You could just keep it in this jar, sealed tightly, and put the lime in it, and then you just save it. And this would last you 2 years, or it could even be more. But don't put it in warm places. What you do is you just keep it in cool places. And that is how you're going to be saving the seed for a longer period of time. So because of the routine of doing gardening, we do it every day or every year. This is once a year it will produce. This is the kind of beans that you could plant once a year. But then we have another kind of seed which you could do all year round. Like every 3 months, you could have beans. But in 1 year, there's 3 months, right? So you could have beans every 3 months of the year. And you could do that. But saving the seeds like this is very precious because I have talked to a lot of people how they save their seeds now. Because we have refrigerator, now they're using refrigerators. But how do you do that now? Do you have any idea? You guys here or in Zoom? Nope. Okay. What they usually do now, we put it in like what you said, jars. You could put it in Ziploc bags, put it in double, and you put them in not the freezing part, but in between. The lower bottom and between, that's where you put your seed. Because if you put it in the closest to the freezing part, then your seed is not going to be good. I have tried it and it works. I've tried and with corn seeds as well. I don't know what kind of seedling you guys would preserve, but we use like the yellow corn, white corn, which is the original corn that we used to grow, not the one which is hybridized now. We have the organic growing corn, yellow kind we have. I even still have seeding from the purple corn, which is in my refrigerator still. And that, if we take it and plant it, surely it will germinate. So that's how we keep it. And another method of doing this seedling saving, you could do it and put it in what the Mayans call it, shultun. Shultun means is like you dig a hole underground, like because in our area is all limestone. What we do is that we dig holes, and then you put it inside these holes, like little tunnels, and you keep them there because it's cool. So the time when you need to plant these, you could take them out and plant them and put them. It's just like saving in our refrigerators. So it's actually there's basic steps that you need to take to do this. Because in the time when my grandparents and parents used to tell me, they used to take these in like in little cave system, and they store it in there. So when it's ready to be planted, they will do it. Or you just keep it by your house, but find areas where it's cool. Yes, Mary.
In the olden days before jars, how did they save the seeds?
We have what they call gourds. I think you know about gourds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gourds are actually, that's what one of the things that they would use. Because gourds, if you notice, you could put water in them, and then what they do is that they do a little hole, and they put like a cork in it, no? And they seal it. And you keep your water there all day, it's cool. It doesn't get hot. So anytime when you drink it, it's cool. What they would do is they take the smallest ones and they put the seedlings in it, and they seal it, and they put it inside and keep it inside cool areas. That is how one of the ways they would keep their seedlings. So as I said, there's very ways or other ways that you could do it. You know, not only this way, but there's some other ways that you could do it. And some of the things that my grandparents has taught me or taught us in general, because we just don't do it for ourselves. Everything that we do in our culture, we would share it in between us. It's never like we say, oh, I know this, I won't share it with you. We don't do that. So if you need some help, we will go to your place and help you identify what you have to plant there or help you plant it. And as well, fertilize it. And when you talk about fertilizing now, you would think, I go to Proser's and buy fertilizer, right? That's what most people think now. They will run to Proser because it's ready in a sack, and they bring it and they just throw it around. But that is one of the things that we have to do. But how do we do the fertilizing of these plants? So before I go to that, does anybody have any questions about the seed savings?
I do.
Yes, Mary.
I'm curious about corn. When you said you save the seeds for the different corn, do you dry them on the cob and then take them off, or do you take them off the cob and then dry them?
No. What we do, when we plant our corn, we leave it there till it is ready. Yeah, when it's dry, but don't wait till it's too dry. It's in between dry and not too dry. So you would pick that, and then you will take the husk, not the husk, the whole corn, and you don't husk it. You just leave it with it. And that is one of the ways that you could actually save your seeds as well. That's another method. If you don't want to do this, put it in a jar. You just break it in the husk and put it in like boxes and just keep it in there. And then the day when you want to plant that, you take off the husk and you get your fresh corn right there. And they could last up to a year, 2 years as well. But by then you will have some little weevils in it. Because they are not being in like this in jars. But yes, you could do that. It has to be dry. It's not, you can't just do it green.
Rub them off.
Yes, you rub them off and you take them and you plant them. There you go. You have your corn. Any questions?
For very
I have a
small.
couple of questions.
Sorry.
I have a couple of questions. Since like starting this time of year, we don't have air conditioning. And so around our house, inside or out, there's not really any place that's going to be considered cool for storing the seeds. What would you suggest? The coolest place in the shade that's always shady, or bury it underground before the ground gets too hard to dig?
What kind of house do you have? Do you have a upstairs, downstairs house, or you just have just a downstairs house?
Upstairs, downstairs, upstairs, downstairs.
Okay, this is one of the options you would have. Because if you have a double house like that, upstairs and downstairs, most of the time on the top part is warm, but then on the bottom part is cooler. So what you do is you find the coolest spot in your house there. That's where you would keep it. And maybe you might even do like a little section just for that. What I did one time when I was in San Antonio, I used what my village, it's still San Antonio, but I'm 2 miles away from it now. I did like a little cement, like a little cement box. It's about maybe 3 by 3 or something like that. And then in the nighttime it gets cool, so you could keep your seeds in there. So you don't have to like lock that in. You just need to have a little doorway and you put it in there, and that should keep your seed cool. The thing is, what you want to do is you don't want those seeds to be too hot, because if you're like in the temperature we are right now, your seeds are going to be cooked. So you want it not too cool and not too hot. It's in between. So like this one here, I keep it not in a refrigerator. I just keep it in my house, but in the kitchen where we are is cool. So what I do put it underneath one of the what do you call it, cupboards, or what do you call it? The where you put plates. I will put it under that cupboard, right?
Yeah, the cupboards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
underneath.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
And that keeps it cool right there. And you could do the same thing, on the bottom part. That's how you could keep them cool, and you could save them there. Does that answer your question?
Okay. Yes, yes. Do you worry about taking all of the air out? Because I've heard in the past that if you have a little bit larger container that you're trying to store beans, that people have put candles inside, so that when the candles burns out, you put the candle in, you light it, and then you put the lid on so that it takes all of the oxygen out, and that helps store them. Does that help or work?
It would help. But then when you do this kind, which I'm doing here, this actually takes care of everything in the bottle. And as well, not only the white lime you could use for I have beans which I collected about a year ago or 2 years ago. Can't remember, because I'm getting old now. So my mind is going away. But anyway, I have that, and you know what I'd use? I use garlic. So you have garlic, that you put it in there as well, and black pepper. Black pepper you put in, the shaker, you put in some, and you just lock that in. And when you open it up, there is nothing going to happen to it, because once you close it in, it's going to be for a while, because you're not going to be opening every minute and just take it and plant it again, or because there's a time when you're going to be planting. So what you do is when you open that, you could use it for food, you could use it for planting, and you just put back the cover, and it's not going to damage it for that period of time. But if you leave it for a longer, yes, it might be starting to get weevils, because they usually like the air which comes in, and that's what happens. When they could breathe, then they would do so. But to start with this, like this, for instance, I could open it, and you could see inside is that, and I could close it back again. No problem. This, I will open it next month again, it's going to be the same. So it is not going to bother you, but you have to put these things in it. You just can't just close it in. And another method that which I have tried many ways, you take those water gallons, like a gallon water, like a water gallon, You fill it all the way to the top and you close it, seal. So make sure that you don't open it again. And that once you don't open it, the weevils don't come in. But once you open it up, air goes in, that's it.
Okay,
I
thank you.
I was wondering about, in India, I remember reading that they use dried neem leaves with the seeds to keep the bugs away. And also, I've read that diatomaceous earth will also protect the seeds. Is that true?
Like I said, every culture has a way of saving their seeds, you know. I know I have used neem as well. So to be, I don't like use it a lot, but the more common thing that I could find, that's what I use. Neem is good. Neem oil is good as for spraying your plants as well. But the neem leaves it's really good. When I used to work at Duplois, they have a garden there, and they used to plant. Well, they still have the plants there that they collected, and one of the gentlemen there, he used that as well, and it works. It would work, but as I said, like every culture would use that, and they have a way or a method of doing it because this is how we were taught, and what we share today is what we know about. You know, we can't go beyond of what we don't know. But the thing is, we respect any culture, and they know how to do it. And if you have heard about it, that means it works. Yes. Any other questions?
The small seeds,
Mhm.
do you use the same? You use
Lime?
lime with those, like carrot seeds and things like that, with the very small seeds,
Oh,
cilantro seeds, things like that.
with those, you could even if you don't want to use this,
Yeah, well, you can use lime with those.
you could use it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's all right.
Yeah, you could use, but a little small dosage
Yeah, okay.
because these are strong.
Yeah,
You know,
it's strong.
and I would recommend mostly if you could do it with black pepper.
Okay.
Yeah, black pepper is much better for
with
smaller
small
seeds.
Okay.
Yeah, than the big than this kind that we
Yeah,
have here.
and lime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions? Other questions? Are we okay? Are we still on? I think we're cut. Huh? Not
You're
here
still
now.
on. You're good.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay, so we is that about your questions? Anybody else? Is that it?
Ready for fertilizer.
Okay.
Can I just ask?
Yes, one
how
more.
do you select certain plants with their characteristics to take the seed from? Can you decide not to take the seed from other plants?
Yes.
That's something you do. Yeah.
That's a very good question here as
Sophia.
Sophia asked a question. If we select the plants that we're going to get the seeds from, as farmers, as like small growers or organic growers, when you plant your seedlings, normally some of them, they don't grow like equally. Some of them, they are very beautiful, big plants, you know, with beautiful leaves and so on. So what we usually do is that we leave these bigger ones, which are healthier ones, and that is where we get our seedlings. You just leave them and let them grow, and then finally they have blooms, and then you get your seedlings, and then you pick your seeds from those. But if you don't have a choice, then you could do any one of those, just like normally. It will give you the same. But mostly what we are being taught is that you get the best fruit or from the tree, and that is what you would get your seeds from. Or like, for instance, carrots. Now, carrots, you find a big, nice big carrots, and they will give you a lot of seeds. The smaller carrot was a little bit of seeds, you know. But if you notice the bigger plants, they give you a much larger seed. And the smaller one is more smaller seed. So you would want the bigger one. How we collected our seed. My great-grandfather taught me a way how to do it. When we do, like, for instance, example, as corn, because we are people like in the Mayan culture, they eat a lot of corn. So and they plant a lot of corn as well as beans. But how we do it, we plant corn and beans at the same time. So the beans will help the plant, like the corn, and put back nitrogen to the soil. So when you get your corn seed, you get the biggest corn, and you start taking off the corn from the cob. You take the first part of the point and the bottom part. So like, let's say the corn is like that, you take this, and then you stay with the center. So this part in the center, this is the only seed that you're going to collect. You don't take these from the end or this end. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get the best that you could. So it's a bigger seeds, and they will believe that when you plant those, that means it will germinate better and it will grow healthy. So that is one of the things that they would do in practice. Even today, we put that in practice. And that is how we actually do our garden. Sorry.
One
Yes.
more question.
Yes.
I've heard, and I don't really understand too much about plant anatomy, flower anatomy, that with hybrids flowers, it is possible if you bag them up, that you can actually collect the seeds from that and they will come true. Is that right? Or is it only certain flowers, only certain hybrid plants you can do that with?
I think everybody heard that question. It's from
Sophia.
Sophia again, asking about hybrid plants, how if you could collect the seeds from it and replant it, you mean, right? Yeah.
By putting a bag around
Yeah.
the individual flowers.
I have tried it. Let me tell you, most of the hybrid plants that they sell, they tell you it's not going to grow again. But you know what? I break that ice. I was so curious about it. And then I planted one time, a hybrid plant. And they said, oh, you can't plant it because it's not going to give you the same as how it is. Believe me. I tried it. I planted it. It germinated. And it actually gave me almost the same as how it is before. And then I made it on the second to the third, and then to the fourth. The first when I planted it, it was like, it went like quicker than what I thought. We will start coming in. This is corn. Just to give you an example, this is corn. And then the second one, it's a little longer. Then the third time, it was much more. And then to the fourth time, it lasted a year. It's amazing. But I don't know if it's the kind of seed that I got. I won't say that every hybrid seed would do that. But I know Monsanto is saying that their seed doesn't work like that way. But to answer your question, yes, you could do that. And the seedling that they would give, you could plant it again. Yes, but it would take a while for you to get the right plant you want. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be taking longer. So what we do with organic seedling, we try not to plant, as I said before, not to plant anything that is hybrid around you, because you need those seeds to be collected again. And during the course of that time, you would see how your plants are going. And if anybody is like planting something that is around you, you will see. Because when, let's say you planted white corn, and then when you harvest your corn, you see there's a strip of yellow in it. That means there is somebody planting something that is being pollinated by bees, which are great pollinators, and that will start ruining your seedlings. But yes, you could do that. Yeah, you could try it. You'll see it works. I have tried it. It did. But as I said, I don't know if it's that the kind of seed that I got, or is it just by luck? It happened. Anybody else?
A real quick question.
Yes,
about
Mary.
cilantro. When the cilantro comes up and it makes a little flower, and then it makes the seeds, do you wait for the seeds to dry before you take them off? And then just take the cilantro? And
Yes. I don't know if you heard that question. Is Mary?
Yes.
Mary said collecting cilantro seed. Question is, if when we plant it, when the flowers are coming out, and then when the seedling is there, do we wait till it to dry out to pick it? Yes. You start to see it getting brown, then you pick it. And what we usually do when we cut them off, because you don't want them to be too dry, because then it's not going to last long. So when they start a little brown, then you cut them, and then you dry them for maybe a few days, but not in direct sun. Just like I would say maybe an hour in the sun, and then take it back in. And then after that, you could bottle it or Ziploc. And that is how you could get your seeds and keep it that way.
Okay.
All right, anybody else? Nope. If not, does anybody on Zoom have a question? Nope. Okay, now we will move on to the fertilizing part of it. How do we plant and be fertilizer? How could we be get some good produce from what we plant? Most of us, as I said before, when you plant, you go run into the Prozers or where they sell fertilizer, you buy a bag and you just throw it there and that's it. But let me tell you a bit about fertilizer now, if it's suitable for everybody to find out. And because as I said, I like to share the information because I want everybody to grow their own food if this is possible. And it makes it more comfortable for everybody. Like myself, we grow here. So we'll tell you what we grow, what we don't have. And if it's something on my shelf which is not being grown by my farm, then I will tell you directly, it is not. Because I don't want anybody to take my word on it and take the fruit or whatever vegetable, and then, you know, by curiosity, you'll take it and test it, and then you say, oh, 99.9, you know, it's poison. And I don't want that. So I be realistic. I would say, yes, this is I grow, and this is what I have in it, and this is what I put in it. And this is, I could guarantee it is a pro-organic, as we call it now, as your logo says, pro-organic. And because it's hard to say 100% organic, because what I learned from one of the things that we went to a talk as well, as I said, if you have some people that are using poison around you, it still picks it up, even though you're far away. So it doesn't matter. It's still, there's going to be a percentage in it. Especially like I have a stream going by my property. It's not full-time flowing, but then when it rains a lot, it collects everywhere and then it goes channeling through. And that is something that will bring some of those, and it spreads out. And then when you're planting, then there is something in that soil that you're not expecting to have, but it would show up there. So any test that you do, it might come up there. But as I said, the things that we grow is actually, I would say, for myself, it is safe to eat, and you will not get that poison that is out there. So I think Robin and Sophia know about it by now, and all the rest that's here, or who gets from me, Leo, you know, she gets from us as well, and I tell her this is organic. You know, my bananas are organic. I don't use no kind of chemicals in it. So to clean it, I have to just chop and, you know, and use a weed whacker or something to clean it. But anyway, the fertilizer that we use now. Does anybody have an idea of how to make a fertilizer or an organic fertilizer? Does anybody has an idea of how is it on Zoom? If you have questions, feel free. I could break through and answer your questions. Let me give you this little hint. By the way, I'm a tour guide as well, so I'm used to talking to people. So in between my tours, people will break me through or stop me and ask me a question, and I would stop and answer the question, and I don't lose track of what I'm talking about because I come back to the same item again, to the same agenda. So I'm used to it. So if you have any question, don't feel that, oh, I will confuse. No, I won't, because I'm used to that. Okay. So if you have any questions, I could feel free. I don't memorize things. That's one thing I learned. Because if you memorize and you forget, then you have to rewind everything back again. So if you don't have any questions, I could go ahead. Is it?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So you said
Compost.
Compost. Leo says composting. Yes, composting is very good. What do we do? What do we use for composting? That's the next question. What kind of material you use? Have you done composting?
Oh yeah. Well, we mostly have compost like about every day, 3 gallons of compost. We use a lot of vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
And some things don't do too well in the garden, so we compost those. And then we put them in the compost pit. But we're not too methodical about it. We'll add some wood shavings that are a little aged. Sometimes we add a little EM that we have percolating out back there. So that's mostly, and also branches and so forth from trees and leaves.
Yep. So that is some of the ways you do it. From veggies, from fruits you eat. And you notice you can mix up everything with the composting, right? Do you know that, right? Yes. Okay. Special oranges. Oranges are it doesn't go along too good with composting because of the acidity that it has. So you try to separate those by itself. Yeah, composting is one of the best places. I think by now everybody knows when they do organic how composting do, but everybody has a different way of doing their composting. And that's a good way with vegetables and fruits and so on. But then another way is like using what we call, like what we get from the trees naturally. All the leaves that come from the tree, especially this time of the year. This is the time when we have all these trees like letting their leaves go. We collect them and we pile them up. What I do is I pile them up and I just keep on wetting them. Keep on wetting them. This is the trick that you need to know. I don't usually share it, but I will let you know today. When you do that, when you wet it, then you get a little bit of molasses. You know about molasses sugar? You take that, dilute it, and just spread it over it, and then wet it again. And if you could like give it a turn every week, just keep it that way every week. And you could cover it with a plastic or whatever, like you have or a tarp or something, just to keep it hot. So it actually comes to fertilizer. And then you'll see that in no time, you'll be having some composting on your own. I mean, like natural fertilizer. I did some just about not even a year ago when we had that. When we moved in and we collected a lot. And then first my wife used to burn it. I said, you don't burn that again. Just keep them. Says, no. I said, nope. And now she was going to plant flowers. What do you think she did? Says, go look for dirt for me. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to dig hard dirt to make some seedlings. That's not good. It's going to be like clay. That's what happens when your bags get hard. What I did is I went to where my compost in and I just like save it. I brought like maybe about 3 wheelbarrows for her and she filled her bags. There she goes. She has her own compost. And I said, see, that is what happens when you try to keep them. So that is one of the ways that we could do it. But again, we have, that is like when you do directly to the soil. So when you do your soil now, those what we do, like which I just told you, you take it and you mix it with your soil. And that will give you really, really good fertilizer for your soil. It will make it rich. It'll give you all the nutrients that you want from it. And as well, if you want to make it much richer, then you mix it up with horse manure. Horse manure is actually one of a good thing to use as well, because horse manure is actually like a rooting system. It roots out your plants very quickly. What I tried like they do on TVs and so on. They show you the root of this tree and this tree and this tree. And what I did is I planted just for like trying to do the experiment on it. I did 1, 2, and 3. 1 with the horse and 1 with the chicken and 1 without nothing. So what I did, when I pulled them out of the little, you know, where you do your seedling, this one with the horse is like roots like this. This one with the chicken is like just like starting to come out. And this one here has none.
Wow.
So you could see how the big difference with it. But now what you could do, you mix them all together, what you get? More fertile. So that is how it is. If you use them, yes, Leo, you have a question.
I was just thinking, I've always heard that sheep manure is the best.
I was
balance for
coming to that.
vegetables.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
I was coming to that section. Yes. So when you mix them together, that is actually good. But one thing you have to know, horse, you could use it directly. After you mix it, you could plant. Chicken, you can't.
Yeah.
That you have to wait for a month or 2 months before it actually goes back to the soil and it starts like to get fixed up, and then you will be planting. Because if you plant right away, what you get instead of green, you get yellow. So like horse, and then like you said, sheep. Sheep is one of the best. If you could get sheep, you don't need all the rest. With that is enough. And that is like you could do it right away as well, because that is just they just eating like leaves from the trees, and then what you need to do is just mix it up and just plant right away. But what I usually do, what I do with this manure, I mix it up with the composting that I told you I did, and I put it when I dig the hole. I don't just like mix it up there. I put it on the bottom. So the first like a handful drop. If you're gonna plant, let's say a fruit tree. If a fruit tree is gonna be planted, you could use that as like a 2, and then you put it in the bottom, and then it just like it grows beautiful. If it's like lettuce or carrots or things like that, most of the lettuce you transplant. Carrots you don't, because carrots, if you transplant them, they go like that. You know. So lettuce is like dig a little hole and you put there, and then you put it in, you get some beautiful lettuces. Now, there's some areas that we don't use it because their soil is rich. So sometimes you don't even have to use those two because you have a rich soil. So in that case, now what we do is you plant directly, but then we start using now what we call a fertilizer that you use for the roots, but not underneath. It's just diluted with water and you put it. And that is where what we call potash comes in, which is the ash from the wood. And I think we have a sample here. Thank you. This I did it for the last stock we did, but I kept it up because I said we might use it. I haven't used it for my garden. I guess I have some more that I do. This is what it looks like. This is not Coca-Cola. It's a Coca-Cola bottle, but it is. Oh, it doesn't have a hole. I think it's not a hole, huh? It's leaking. Yes. Uh-oh. But anyway, and if you touch this, you could feel it. It's like very like slimy. Yeah, it's you could feel that texture in it, and that is what we use for the fertilizer. So this one actually, you could mix it just water with ash, and you throw it right at the root of the tree or the base of the tree. For instance, if you have a mango tree, a lime tree, or any kind of fruit tree that you have, you could just mix it up and just pour it around it, and that will help the plant to get nutrients from it. But you see this now, this has been for a while that I have done it. On the bottom, you could see the ash, maybe anybody could see it. And then on top, it's clear. So what we do now, this part, we don't use. Now we use this section here. This is what we call foliar fertilizer. This section, you see the amount it has. This is 1.5 liters. You take this. What I mixed in this is a 1.5 liters of water, and I did maybe like 1/4 pound of ash. To give you an idea, this is just roughly I did it, but this is what it would take, 1/4 pound to 1.5 liters. And when you do that, now what we use this for is for the leaves. And this would be acting as a fertilizer as well as a fungicide. So it's an insecticide as well. So what we be using this for is how much we should use. This liter actually, 1 liter. You sieve it, then you add 3 liters more for your fungicide. That means how much liters? How much? 4 liters, yeah. That means 1 plus 3, that's 4. So that is how much you would do. How to do it? Do it in the morning time. Do it in the evening time when the sun is setting. Don't do it midday because you burn all your plants. It's as effective as or the chemical fertilizer they have. So you just need to use that amount. And this will give you like beautiful trees to grow, healthy trees. Yes. This you spray on the leaves. You could have a back sprayer, or you could have just little this sun sprayer. Go to, you know. But if you do it this way, then you would need something much bigger. But you might have a bigger garden then. Okay. And this will put this down because it's leaking.
Do you shake the bottle before application, or is it?
No, because what you're doing, that is for like using for the leaves. This has been like sitting for more than a week now, or 2 weeks. This is going to be clear. You need this clear part. You don't need this bottom part, because if I shake it, then I will do directly. I could shake it now for you to see what it would look like. So I will be shaking it just for you to see. That is what it's going to look like now. See that? This you could do directly on the plant now. You could open this and just pour it around your fruit trees, and that will be going directly to the root. Before it was shaken, it's all clear. That is what you need for the leaves. That's you go for the leaves, not for the roots.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then I had a question regarding, do you utilize a moringa or banana leaf? Like banana has potassium, moringa might have something else. So any combination that you do to try and achieve like NPK?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, this is the other one which you just asked about banana leaf, banana peel. Banana peel is really good as well. So this is what I have in this bottle now. So I prepare this, and I've been shaking it, so it's been like moving along, but the same as what we talked about. You could use any kind of leaves in it. Like for instance, this is just a sample of what I use here, but this is mostly for the flowering part of the tree. So when your trees are flowering, this banana or banana itself on the skin of the banana peel, you put them in the bottles like this, and you put water as well, and you just let it for it to sit, and then you will use that for the leaves, not for the root. So yes, it's a foliar fertilizer. Okay, but I do understand what you're saying about the leaves. How you do that? That is the type of composting that we do. Bananas are very easy to make composting with. The whole tree itself, you cut it into pieces, dice it up, and you put it like in a mound. What you do is then you put the moringa leaf on it. Then you put any kind of what do you call those? Like the kind of fine leaves. That's the mimosa type leaves.
Say it in English or Spanish, and then we can translate.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, hoja de bukut, we call bukut. You know what's bukut?
Yes, yes, Cassia grandis. Yeah,
Cassia grandis. Yes, that is really good to mix with it. And I'll give you a quick rundown on that, how to do it. You cut the bananas, the banana itself, the whole leaves and everything. You pile it up in one area, and you put that leaf on it, the bukut leaf, the moringa leaf, and then you put like dry leaves on it as well. Now you take a coat of black soil and spread it on top of it. You take a gallon of molasses directly now, and you just like spread it on top of it. Now what you do, after you finish, you put another coating of that on top, the bananas again. When you finish with that, you just cover it up with tarp, and just leave it there for a week. A week time, you come back, turn those all over, and you cover it back again. And by 1 month, you start to see that you're having some organic fertilizer. So that is the mix that you're asking about, and that is how you could do it. That makes a good combination, yes. This one here, though, this is just for the flowers. And for the flowering plant that you have, like for instance, your trees are flowering, like the tomatoes, when they start blooming, you want more tomatoes on it, you spray it with this, guaranteed, it will give you a lot of good, rich fruits, and big ones as well, not small ones. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, anybody have a question? Nope, we're okay. On Zoom?
Do you produce sour sop?
Yes, John, I do have. Actually, I'll turn this little laptop maybe just a bit, and you will see a tree right behind me. There you go. That is a sour sop tree right behind there. See where this little plant is? I think that's right.
And I find sour sop to be a needy plant. What do you do to sour sop?
Needier.
Yeah. You mean when you said needy, what do you mean by needy? I kind of don't understand.
It needs some help to hold the fruit and to make the fruit be big and to protect it from fungus and so on.
Okay, I think the last time I had somebody visiting us, I talked about that. And I even showed them my sour sop, how beautiful they were. And I still have them on the tree still. I still have some fruits on the tree. And yes, John, that is a very interesting question. And I could tell you exactly what I did. What I have just showed you about the white lime, or the ash, sorry, the ash. This one that I showed you here. But now I have a mix. This is what the mix is. It's black now. You notice what is in this one here. We have the ash and coffee. You know, when you drink your coffee, I don't know what kind of coffee you drink in the morning, but we use like the green coffee, which is the organic growing coffee, which you percolate. And what is left behind it is what we use for this. So it turns out to be this here. This is an insecticide. This will actually protect your plant, and as well as a fertilizer. You try it on your on the soursop, you will see that it will give you nice big soursop. But then, since you said it needs some help, this is what you do now. This one here that you said we shake it before, you take this and you dilute them with water, and directly you go and put it all around the trunk of the tree where the root system is, and this will help it to give you that boost on your plant, and it will give you some big soursop, and it's healthy one. And sometimes you see that the soursop is dark and black. It has some holes in it. We usually say it's ants that is doing it, but it's a time when the blooming is happening. That is when that is injected in it. So what you do is you take this one first, you bloom this when it's blooming. You take this one with the banana leaf, the banana skin, and you spray on it. And that makes it really like strong and like healthy. It's just like taking vitamins. You know, when we're weak, we take vitamins, it makes us stronger. So this is the vitamin for that. And the flowers is actually gonna be healthy. then it won't fall off from the tree. Instead of falling off, it produces a fruit. Now, when the fruit is already like to a size, maybe 2-3 inches, you take it and you do it with this now, which is the coffee and the ash mixed together. You could do it just with ash itself, it would work. But if you do this, then it protects it from the fungi that is there and the insect that is bothering your plants. So this is yes, this is a foliar as well. Remember the mix for these. Did I told you with the banana? I said, yes, I did, right? Did I tell you with the banana how much mix?
Yeah,
3 to 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this one here, actually, because this is stronger, you want to do it 4 to 1. This is a liter and a half. So 4 plus 1, which is 5. Okay? But if you do it in a small scale, then you just, whatever portion you did, you just add up that portion to it. Like if you have like a little bottle, like those little bottle of rum that they call red tops. If you do that, you do like 4 of those with that, mix it up, and that you could use a little sprayer with it, just to spray the tree itself. But most people would have like a back sprayer, which they do because it's faster, and you cover a lot in a few minutes.
So Philip, that mixture, is it coffee grounds? After you percolated your coffee, it's coffee grounds and water, and that's it?
Yes, you see, it helps both ways. It helps us because we drink the coffee, and then the rest that's left, the coffee ground, that's what you put in this bottle. But remember, you have to put the 1/4 pound of ash in it, ash from your wood.
Right.
That is what you don't use lime. White lime is not good for that because that's too strong. It's got to be the ash. Because if you notice, if you take a piece of area, you mix it up with ash and plant there, you will see how beautiful they grow because of the potassium that it has. The potash in it is really effective. So this is what you do. You just put ash and coffee, and this is what you get. Remember, we have 3. We have this one. We have this one. Remember how the companies do when they're selling their products? They say, I will sell you this and sell you this. So I'm not selling it, but I'm just showing you how to do it. And this one here. So this is 3 based on it. First one is just ash. This is the banana itself. And this is coffee and ash. So 3 kinds. Do you all remember what you use it for? Because I don't.
You help putting some of that in the like the fertilizer on your compost, or is that wouldn't work with it?
These ones?
The fertilizer one. If you,
that one, yeah.
If you put that like in your compost, would that help with compost?
Oh yeah, but the best thing to use is molasses. And this has been done for the leaves. This the banana one is done for the leaves. That's a foliar. But if you want for your compost to be actually what do you call this, active? Yeah, thank you, Robin. Active immediately. You put that molasses in it. I actually have a molasses jar back there. You know, I buy it by jars and you eat it, and I eat it in my pancakes. Even that's molasses from the Mennonites, I put it in my pancakes. But it's good. I mean, like you just put it and it's just, you know, spread it all around it equally. And then you just like, what do you do? Take a hose, because it goes all in. And then that, you cover it up. And then that's, you get your fertilizer from. Oh, that is some of the information that I have for you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I could actually answer more questions if you have, you know. But as I said, this is just samples of what I have, what I do, and we could do more than that, you know.
Do you do anything for wee wee? Wee. How do you address the problem of wee wee?
Oh my, wee wees are actually. Somebody asked me that question the last time. Says, what do you do with wee wees? You know, I said we all want to eat something, right?
Yeah.
Nature. They have to eat, so I just let them eat. That's what I do, you know. But no, you could. You see that same ash that I showed you. You could put it in their hole, and that will chase them away from their big palace. As long as it's not huge, like the one I have here is like a palace, so it's huge. So it doesn't matter how I do it. It somewhere they pop out and somewhere else, you know. But if you were just like starting and it's not that big, that would take care of it. But some people use poison, but I hate to do that because I don't want to kill them right away. You know, I just want to chase them away to go somewhere else. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, citrus. Yeah, citrus
that's
power.
good
Yeah,
for
yeah.
wee ants.
Citrus powder. Citrus
powder.
power. Oh yeah.
You know that
Yeah.
that-
Robin says he has used citrus power.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says that works good. That's a natural one. That's not a chemical one. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's very good. Very interesting.
Anyway, if that's it, for no more questions, I would like to thank you, every one of you that came today, especially at OpenEye, which are here. I think we have Joseph, Mary, Leo, Sophia, Robin, Sparkle. I have 6 guests here, plus my 3 dogs with me. Yeah, they have enjoyed time. I would like to thank you very much for that moment that you guys have shared with me, and it was really a pleasure. And you guys, you all in Zoom as well. Thank you very much. And I hope this will help you all for your little organic farming that you're starting to do and produce your own food like healthy. Okay. On behalf of myself and my OpenEye farm, I would like to thank you very much. So if anybody need any questions during the time, I have a phone number which is 669-9845. You call me direct, and that same number I use it for WhatsApp and what's Messenger. And I have an email address. It's birdmanbz.mai@gmail.com. That is my email address. So thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Philip. That was extremely informative, very like simple too. I like simple. It doesn't take a lot of yeah, and just use the things that we pretty much have around here. So that's great, and what they're good for. Does anybody else have any questions for Philip while we have him here? You've gotten several comments in the chat session of great job and thanks for the information. And yeah, we do appreciate it very much so. So if nobody has any other questions for Philip, then we can call this.
We have one question.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, one quick question is just comparing organic growing compared to say Monsanto growing in terms of yield and stuff like that. From your experience, have you seen any differences or any advantages either way? I know all the advantages of the organic.
Yes. The question is about Monsanto and organic. What advantages would we have about it? I would say if we stick to what we are doing now, which is this is very important, organically, I think it is the best way to go than to go with Monsanto because we don't want the big fish to eat the small fish. So this is how we will put it, because the bigger fish, they just want everything to themselves, and they will try to manipulate everybody to try to say, oh, this is best for you, this is good for you, this is, and then at the end, you know that it is not. Like I said, for instance, when we talked about seeds, remember their seeds are different than our seeds. So the way how we do our seeds, we could use it constantly, every time, every year. You could plant those. Their seeds, as I said, they would do it to a point. No, this is something which is important actually, which I have found out about it. Their seedlings, they have injected a type of chemical in it that when you plant it, you have to buy that kind of chemical to grow it. So it's not like pretty easy, you know. And it's like a lot of people are complaining in my village now. They buy seeds, it doesn't grow. They said, oh, to give you a little rundown, I did an organic greenhouse. I planted sweet pepper, bell peppers. And the way how I planted is that they gave me a hybrid seed that was coming up because I said, plant this. I said, okay, it's going to be organic. So I did. And then I started planting, started growing. And then suddenly I saw white flies. I said, what do I do with white flies? And I go in. Actually, I forgot to tell you, this takes care of white flies. If you have white flies in your garden, this is very effective. It takes away that white fly, okay? What's that? This, yeah, you could do it as much as long. This, they will never go bad. This, you could save it for months. You could still use it for months. They are still good. It's not like some of the medication or whatever kind of poison they use, and then you have to throw it away. The same. They
Would
never.
Would you
So
use that for drunken baymen? Would you use that for drunken baymen?
Drunken baymen?
Or
This
what
one
would you use for drunken baymen?
That is actually, we have, I use garlic. You take a clove of garlic. Is it a clove or a head? A head of garlic, sorry. And you press it together and do the same as this one here. But now, this is where the important part comes in. You take the, what is basil? We have the African basil. And I have some planted in my garden here. That one there, we take that and we, the leaves, we smush it together and put it in there. And that, when you spray it on it, they would go away. They won't kill it. Just remember, it won't kill the baymen, the drunken baymen, but it chases away. My coconuts, like here, I have, they never had fruit when I came here. And they bloom and they never had fruit. That's what I did with them, and they started fruiting. So it will chase away the baymen. That's a good way of doing it. But you could find, like, if you don't find basil, if you don't have basil, you could use just the garlic itself. It works. Yes.
Is it an insect?
You're welcome. What's that?
It's an insect, the drunken
What is
bayman.
Yeah, that's an insect. Yeah.
Black flies.
They bother your flowers when they're blooming. Oh, they come up. They eat all the young leaf from the citrus. Yeah, they do that. Some people do, like I said, they go to the store and buy it. That's great, you know. Which is, yeah. Yes. I think so.
There's
Yeah.
one other question
Yes.
in the chat. Somebody's asking, how does the citrus power work on it? Just mix with water, use immediately? So maybe Robin could answer that.
Yes, it's 1 ounce of citrus power to 1 gallon of water, but in fact we've used up to 3 ounces, and that seems to work. But this is from DBG, but he did say that you have to try and dig out and find the queen first, and then you re-examine in 5 days. You might need to do another application.
But you have to keep going back to it to make sure they've all done.
Yeah.
Because their palaces underneath, like Philip says, their palaces are spread everywhere.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Might be more than
And you know, when you're going to that palace, it's the queen's room is way hidden down there. You have to really dig.
feet underneath.
I'm going to go down like 7 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dig right out.
Wow.
See, the ashes are a little effective because what you do is when you put it in their hole, they don't like their little feet. You know, when they go there, they're like, it sticks there. They don't like it. Even like the plant like that, you paint it with it, they don't like it. You put it around your plant, they won't cross to go there. They don't like that little dust on their feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're very clean little animals, you know.
Mhm.
And you notice how they carry their leaves? Normally, there's one little ant on top, cleaning all the fungus before it goes into that hole. He's always like
Wonderful.
taking a free ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's working.
Mm,
He's working.
amazing.
Okay, so I think
So
that
any suggestion for termites?
termites.
sticky.
Oh, well, termites is actually they would come underground, so it's very hard that to take care of it. I noticed like people are using burnt oil. That's what they use for like underneath. You know, burnt oil is good, or diesel. Diesel is good for that. If you want them not to eat your wood, you take diesel and you brush it on it, and it should cure that wood. And that is what we've been using so far, because we don't use those chemicals again. There's some good chemicals for that, but we don't use it. I use diesel instead, and burnt oil. That's the more effective one that we could use. There's a drunken bayman.
Talking what?
Drunken bayman. It's a black fly.
Nasty little flies. They don't sting unless you interrupt their nest, and then they'll give you a nasty sting. Otherwise, they're just interesting.
Is that it? Any questions?
Speaker, forever hold your peace. And I put Philip's phone number in the chat session.
Don't call me after midnight though, because I'm sleeping.
The person said they couldn't. Person said they couldn't hear the information on the citrus power. Basically, what Robert and Sophia do is they mix up to 3 ounces of citrus power with a gallon of water, I believe,
Yes.
for the wee wee ants. But you have to you can pour it down there whole, but basically you're going to have to find the queen and kill it.
Yeah.
So you'll have to
Which
repeat that process.
Yeah, a few days and have to repeat it.
Yep.
There's chemical.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Or the same way
Okay.
too. Diesel works for that. You pour it. I've seen that people doing that with gasoline, though, not with diesel.
Yes.
Yeah, that blew up. You can see fire everywhere.
Yeah.
So if I heard a story about why they call wee wee ants, it said long, long ago, the Mayans used to, those pottery big jars, everybody used to pee in them. Put urine, called wee wee.
Yeah.
And then they would ferment it, and then they would pour that down
into the hole.
Did you ever hear that?
Yes. We used to do that.
Oh,
For ants. But I never used that. No, I mean, like, said it because
okay,
maybe
it's
it's
your
not.
family. Get some pee in there for.
But the Mary was saying that what they used to use before, and she heard about this. They used to pee in pots and keep it there, and then they would pour it into wee wee ants hole, because that's why they call it wee wee. Yes, it is true. That was being practiced in my culture. But when you wee wee in one of these pots or chamber pot, what we usually do, you put it in gallons, like a gallon, seal it, and just leave it there. Don't use it for the first day. You know what happens when you, after 2-3 days or a week, when you open that thing is, oh, so that is directly when it's that old, you go and you pour it in there, and that smell, it's not going to kill them. It chases them away because they don't like that smell, and that works. That is one. Thank you for that. See, that was slipping away, and that is really it's good. It's a more effective one that will be used. Yeah, the cheaper than citrus power. So if anybody has that problem, you could try that and see how it works for you. Because I have used it for ants. Because I usually I don't like to get up and go to the bathroom because it's an outboard. I use a little container, and then in the morning time I will take it and I find all the little ants nest. I put it on it, and then next day, 2 days, they're gone. They leave. Yeah, they leave their space because they don't like that smell. Yeah, and that's because it's not a week old. It was-
Imagine if you put a citrus oil and
Oh, yeah.
a little spray, not a lot, but just
Yeah.
a little, a couple ounces or something like that, and then maybe eradicate them.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, they'll chase them away. Okay. Well,
Super.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
well, you're
you.
welcome. Thanks for coming. And thanks for joining me. That made it really interesting, huh? And we are like in the perfect environment. Look at it, huh? Yep.
Good.
Okay. Any more questions for Philip? All right, then we will call this a closing meeting. And thank you so much. It was very valuable information. So we appreciate you taking the time to share some of your knowledge with us. And Philip's phone number is in the chat, so anybody could call and ask him other questions or send him an email, birdmanbelize at, is it at Gmail or I forgot?
Birdmanbelize.mai, M-A-I as my, at gmail.com.
At Gmail. Okay, Birdman
Birdman, B-Z, B-Z, yes, dot M-A-I at gmail.com. Yeah, Z.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah. Ah, that's true. That's very true. Huh?
All right. Thank you so much, Philip. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure. So, thank you guys. Thanks again. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Just great.
All right.